Sorry.
A few minutes early.
Yeah, a few minutes early.
Well, hey, it's only a minute and a half early. So Tracy accidentally hit the go live button 2 minutes
Sorry.
early. So we're
well,
live now. Surprise.
Our son wanted to do it, and I was making the screen not black.
All right.
Sorry, everyone.
So I'm Davy.
I'm Tracy.
From DavyandTracy.com, and we have our little one here joining us today. Let me just mute this real quick. And welcome to Magick Monday. Magick Monday is our weekly podcast where we talk about connecting to nature for mental, emotional, spiritual healing. And the topics we discuss are particularly related to green witchcraft, lunar astrology, and we work with tarot and oracle cards. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so we're a minute early, so I don't know, we could either chit chat or just get right into it.
We could. Why don't we get right into it? Because I think most people are probably going to watch the recording of this.
All right, so
let's go ahead.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you want to start the singing bowl?
Well, let's light the candle first. Hold on, let me light the candle first. So we have a new candle. Today is August 3rd. So we have our August candle. We've been doing a new candle every month all year since we started doing this in April. But we've had this set since January. So this month's theme is joy.
And so I redid our altar. As you can see, I've got a few more things on it. Just things that bring us joy. We have some blueberries, which we'll talk about. Yeah, so we'll talk about when we talk about our lunasa. We picked those blueberries. The bee balm is something that Davy has harvested.
Hey, Sarah. Sarah just joined us.
Hey, Sarah. Thanks for joining us. I know that you mentioned you weren't sure if you're going to be able to. The lavender actually is something that Davy grew himself.
In my garden. Same with the rosemary.
Garden. Yeah. So that's what kind of changed this for. We try and change it up a little bit. So.
Right. So the focus of this month, we're going to be focusing on joy and cultivating more joy in your life. So we'll keep that in mind as we go through today. All right, go ahead. Bring the singing bowl. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. And then
sometimes meditation does make you sleepy.
Let's see, I'm in the mood for some sage today. So now's the time to talk about what you're grateful for. Please share in the comments, even if you're watching the recording of this. Share what you're grateful for. A couple of people have done that so far last week, and we appreciate that. We do read, we do check it. It's a good thing that even if you're watching a recording and not live, that you put that energy out into the universe.
But first, while we do our sage, first we're going to release any negative tension that you have. So just imagine the energy, any negative energy, just allow it to be released right now.
Yeah. And tell us what you're grateful for before the smoke runs out into the nothingness.
Who wants to go first? Do you want to go first, Brad?
What are you grateful for?
I am grateful for...
Yes, speak up.
I am grateful for...
For ringing the singing bowl?
For ringing the singing bowl.
I'm grateful that we have a singing bowl.
Me too.
It was
it's actually a gift.
Yeah, from ShantiBowls.com, and we did do a video and a write-up on singing bowls, so we do appreciate them. They sent it to us last year, so we've been very happily using the singing bowl since then.
So Aunt Sarah's watching to make it seem so you can say hi, Aunt Sarah.
Hi, Aunt Sarah.
So yeah, I'm grateful for our singing bowl. I'm grateful for the beautiful weekend that we had. We celebrated Lunasa. Yeah. Do you want to share what we did? What did we do?
So just for those who are not familiar, Lunasa is celebrated on August 1st. Typically, it is that midpoint between the summer solstice and the fall equinox. So it's one of the cross-quarter days in the wheel of the year.
What did we do? We went...
Berry picking.
Blueberry picking, yes.
Some of the blueberries on our altar here.
Then we came home and we made blueberry muffins, and they did not come out because we had a little miscommunication. And we had too much flour, but I didn't want to waste the recipe, so we ended up making cherry scones. We have New York cherries. We're local to New York, so they're local cherries for us. I didn't pick them, but they're local. And so we ended up making cherry scones and then another batch of blueberry muffins. And the blueberry muffins, the scones actually came out better. We all kind of agreed the scones came out better than the muffins. Yeah. So we're going to make more scones. And then what did you and I do yesterday? We went what? What did we do? Kayaking.
Went kayaking.
Went kayaking to a new place. It's very, very pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sarah says, I'm grateful for vacation. I'm grateful for little baby tomatoes on my plants. Yes. Finally, I'm grateful for good weather coming up. I'm grateful for you. Aw, thank you. We're grateful for you too.
Grateful that you tune in.
I'm grateful for a little break from the hot weather. I mean, it was warm yesterday, but looking at the forecast, it looks like we're getting out of those 90-degree days.
It's still like in the 80s, but it's
80s is fine, Yeah. So like I'm seeing a lot of temperatures in the forecast in the low to mid 80s, and overnight temperatures dipping in the 60s, which is definitely cooling off the swimming pool.
But you know what? It's also nice at night because then we can open the windows.
It's making life a little more comfortable. Yeah. So that's a little trade-off. A little cooler weather, colder swimming pool temperatures, but I'm grateful for the swimming pool. And Sarah mentioned the baby tomatoes, and I'm grateful for all the produce we're getting from our garden too, because we're getting beets now. We have some tomatoes turning orange, and I harvested zucchini and yellow squash is like crazy now. And I fried some yellow squash up yesterday, which is something I don't like to eat a lot of because it's like it feels terrible taking a vegetable and then like frying it in I do an egg and crumbs, but it's like this childhood kind of nostalgic kind of meal, and so I just like made that for my lunch on Saturday.
Good,
it's
but
really
it's like,
good.
I don't feel like.
I know, it just feels like you take this healthy vegetable and you like make it so unhealthy by frying it, but it's really yummy. All right.
Yeah. Can you, whoa, buddy, can you sit up, please?
Hey, Jen, welcome. Yeah, Aiden's
Hi,
Jen. All right, so, once again, feel free to post what you're grateful for, even if you're watching the recording. We're going to move on to the lunar wisdom for the week. So, today is the full moon in Aquarius, and on our Moonology Oracle card it says, show the world the real you, which can be in a struggle for Aquarians like myself, because we tend to be a little elusive and, private. We have these private lives, as far as an introvert, have this rich inner world. But even for extroverts, it can be difficult, and non-Aquarians, it can be difficult to share the real you, put the real you out there because of fear of judgment, fear of how people will think. Sometimes you're afraid that if you kind of show your true colors and go after your dreams or whatever, that you'll fail, and that failure will feel very personal. Right. So today is really all about sharing the real you. And because it's the full moon, the full moon reflects the sunlight back to Earth. And so I take that as kind of a metaphor of, what's reflecting back at us. What energy are we putting out into the world, and how is that energy reflecting back into our reality, into the people that come into our lives, into our circumstances. So that's something that during the full moons I like to sit down and I journal about it. So Aquarius is associated with creativity and passion and unconventional ideas. So if you don't like certain aspects of your life that you feel, reality is, if you don't like certain aspects of your life, sometimes it's because the attitude and thoughts and beliefs that you put out there are being reflected back at you. So it might be a time to really kind of get creative and not be afraid to get creative with how you solve problems or how you want to change your life. You might need to do things unconventionally and have an unconventional approach. Show your true colors. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself. So it might be time to kind of sit down with your journal and figure out, okay, what I'm doing right now or what I have been doing isn't working. I'm not satisfied in this area of my life. Maybe it's time to inject a little creativity. Maybe it's time to be a little unconventional, take an unconventional approach, and put myself out there, show my true colors to the world, because then I'm really going to get what I want, instead of trying to, you know, build this facade that kind of, you know, gives you, you know, you put that facade out there, but then you're not really attracting what you want, because you're not showing your true self and what you truly want. So that's some food for thought for today. Tuesday through Thursday, or Tuesday through Friday, we're going to be in the waning crescent moon, which is about releasing and letting go, and it's going to be in the sign of Pisces. So that's a time, you know, this week is going to be a time to kind of identify which you need to release or let go from your life. So if there, you know, you could identify with a full moon, you could just identify like anything that's like, okay, I need to release this kind of thought pattern, I need to release this clutter, I need to do this or that. You can do that. You could also, you know, Tracy and I are working through, 2 weeks ago was the new moon in Cancer. And so Tracy and I are committing this moon cycle, this full moon cycle to, you know, declutter our house and harmonize the energy of our home. So it's going to be something that we are looking at again this week, just checking in. Okay, it's time to buckle down and start releasing.
And this is something that, you know, we have mentioned, if you've watched the podcast for a while, you've known this is something that we've been working on for a couple of weeks, and this is something that we share with you guys, is that, you know, your home is something, especially right now, we are all home, and sometimes it can be a little chaotic. So harmonizing a space that's an ever state of chaos.
The area that you don't see in the camera frame here.
Right. The harmonizing can be difficult. So for us, we're taking one step at a time, literally one space, one area, one closet, and that can feel like it takes a long time, but that's the reality of how you're going to get things done. And so you have to feel like you know, you have to be okay with it. So
right. So the sign of Pisces, which we're going to be in from Tuesday through Friday morning, is going to be, that's associated with emotions and feelings, creativity and reflection. It is a water sign, so it's
good time to check in on how you're actually feeling about life, about what's going on, and be honest with yourself. You know, if you're not feeling, this is something that I've kind of been struggling with, and I've actually talked to Davy about this morning, is that I'm feeling very much like I want to have a positive joy, and I'm constantly shifted into, you know, my energy is shifted with social media and just everything. It's very easily shifted, and so I'm working on keeping my energy in a positive place. I'm going to look for a podcast that I can, when I'm not focusing on different things, I can have that sort of mental break from life without going to Facebook and being shifted. You know, sometimes Facebook is positive, sometimes Facebook is not. It seems to have an energy that I never know what's going to happen. So for me, I'm emotionally trying to just control my emotions, and that's something that I'm working on this moon cycle.
Yeah, I would say something that definitely is something Tracy and I have been working on, and this is a good thing to work with, you know, this week, is just kind of releasing and letting go things that affect your emotions and feelings in a negative way, things that kind of reflect back at you. We were actually just talking about like your Facebook feed, and I told Tracy this morning, I feel like Facebook feeds are probably one of the worst things for your energetic health or your mental health even, because it can be very intrusive to get, you know, especially nowadays and coming up to election and everything, and you know, just to have everyone's opinions and energy, it's very chaotic and can really affect you negatively. To just have, like, you know, there's almost no barrier there. Anybody can just lob an opinion or a news story or a horrific, you know, thing out there, and that just disrupts your energy, especially if you start your day, you know, scrolling on your Facebook feed. Right. And so I've taken great lengths to just kind of filter everything out. I see mostly Facebook groups that I belong to, like nature groups and things. So
I'm part of mostly a lot of groups as well, but there's always this, you know, it's hard because sometimes you have a friend who just, you know, radically will post something different, and you know, that's just definitely for me. I'm finding sometimes it's a positive place, and sometimes it's just not so positive.
Right. So that's something to look at too. So it says I have to run, but But I'm glad I got to pop in. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Sarah.
Thanks for coming.
See you next week.
Jen said she put together some shelving that arrived this weekend. So just organizing the kitchen, yeah. And it feels good to get rid of stuff and organize. It translates into other aspects of my life. And that's absolutely. So true. We did the same thing when we put together some shelving area in our living room closet. It was amazing how much more that space. It was the same amount of stuff that got put back, but it just had a very different energy.
Right. So then when we get to the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, we have that waxing moon in Aries, and so that's Aries is associated with taking initiative. Did I say waxing moon? I mean waning moon. In Aries, which is associated with taking initiative, starting new projects, and putting yourself out there. So really what we see this week is more of like a reflection, tapping into your feelings, emotions, creativity, maybe even, taking some unconventional approaches for different aspects of your life. But by this weekend, it's time to hustle. It's time to get started. You take this week to identify what needs to be released and how
you're going to release it.
Like what is affecting your emotions, your feelings, your energy throughout the week. But then this weekend's the time to buckle down and start doing the work. So that is lunar wisdom for the week.
Summer, children are home.
All right. Shall we start with an animal card?
Yes. Aiden, do you want to pull the animal card? Grab me the top card, please.
So what is it?
It's a bear eating a fish.
Grizzly bear.
Grizzly bear.
Keyword is power.
Here, can you show the card?
You want to show the card? Go. Oh.
Alright, show the card. Alright, now bring it back here.
The candle almost fell.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jen says, yes, I'm trying to find positive feeds on Facebook, but in general, I'm trying not to spend too much time on it. Yeah, I'm the same way. I can't. I try to avoid the news, and on one hand, I feel like I'm burying my head in the sand, but another, I feel like I need to just protect my energy because it does no good if I'm constantly feeling this barrage of negativity coming in.
Yeah, this is actually perfect. I am indestructible. I honor my intuition and go where it leads. Love and gentleness are my real strength. I never give up. I will succeed. Which is good. I think it's a good reminder right now. And as far as we're talking about is getting your emotions in place and trying to find this reconnecting to a place of joy, which is the August theme is finding that joy, figuring out what is leaking your energy into the negative, and then being like, this is what I have to do to change these aspects. So for me, it's spending less time on social media, finding a podcast that's more in alignment with the direction I want to go in, and just listening to something that lifts me up versus the unknown of how my emotions are going to feel when I hop on Facebook.
Well, another thing too is when you get to the full moon is generally associated with abundance and fulfillment. Sometimes we get to the full moon and we don't always feel like we've made it to where we want to be. We haven't achieved that goal, we haven't fulfilled that goal. So this grizzly bear is just kind of a reminder to recommit and honor your intuition, go where it leads, love yourself and be gentle and with yourself, never give up. So even if you follow the moon cycles and setting intentions on the new moon and fulfilling them for the full moon, and you haven't quite gotten where you are, or you're like us where we're on our second new moon in Cancer cycle and we're still looking around at a lot of house that needs to be organized, you just need, it's a reminder to be gentle with yourself, and that you can do it. You have the strength and the power, and don't beat yourself up for it. All right, plant wisdom. We have Periwinkle.
I don't know if I've had that one.
No, I don't think we have. Do you want to show it real quick? Don't bump the table this time.
Do you want to show the camera?
Show the card in the camera, but watch the table.
I don't know. Show it to them, buddy. Other side.
Flip it around.
Look at the back.
Flip it around.
Flip it around.
Some trees.
Aiden, flip it around.
And it's a forest. So no,
Aiden, flip it around.
it is a
It is.
Go get it.
Come on, bud.
plant card.
Yeah. All right. Bring it back here.
All right. Thank you. Whoops.
Oh.
All right. So Periwinkle. Periwinkle. The keyword is intertwining. So it says, all is well, all is as it should be. Periwinkle is here helping you to weave together all the lessons and experiences of the past and all the wisdom gained so that you can move forward with understanding, compassion, and forgiveness. Growth is assured as you find the courage to examine and explore new facets of yourself. Yeah, this is good. This is something I struggle with but it's a good reminder. Like, all is well, all is as it should be.
Right.
A lot of times, like, I know I spend a lot of time kind of resisting how things are. You know, I'm very much future focused. I have goals. I have very clear ideas of how I feel my life should be. Like, oh, it should be like this. You know, we should be,
having this,
we should have this and this in place, and it can be challenging when that's not in place, when all doesn't feel as it should be. And so this is a good mantra to remind yourself of. I do have an article.
I'm upside down.
I have an article on our site. I believe it's the 5 lessons I learned going through dark times. Where I talk about, the resistance to circumstances is what causes suffering more than the circumstances themselves.
Yeah.
So.
And that's definitely something we found out. Okay, buddy. Hey, but you have to.
So.
Okay, buddy.
So yeah, again, this is kind of it's related to the bear card, the grizzly bear card, about understanding, compassion, forgiveness. Growth is assured. Find courage to examine and explore new facets of yourself.
Right.
And then let's look at this week's tarot card, and we have the 5 of Swords. So the 5 of Swords is a card that. Show quickly.
5 of Swords. As you can see, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, just show it up
Swords.
so that Daddy can talk.
All right, so the 5 of Swords.
Thanks, buddy.
Is one of those cards that can be tricky, especially when it's a single card. In a spread, you get a little more information. So there's a couple ways to interpret this card. A lot of people look at this card and they see it as kind of like hollow victories, aggression. They identify with this guy holding the swords, and it might represent something like, well, is there hostility that you're experiencing? Are you one of these guys here that are feeling defeated? Are you this guy who maybe needs to keep your need to be right in check? Maybe you're kind of being either selfish or hostile to other people. So it's difficult to interpret this card. As a standalone, though, and based on what we're talking about, especially with the grizzly bear and the periwinkle card, I kind of see this card, and I've interpreted it this way before in other spreads that I've done for other people, is swords are associated with air and the mind and our thoughts. And so I see this card as kind of our ability to kind of win victories over mental weeds, so to speak. That the part of our our thoughts that and fears that kind of hold us back. So I kind of see not only the swords, I see this card as kind of basically defeating our inner demons, and defeating our inner demons. And if you look at the sky here, where you have the blue sky and the gray clouds, and then the swords are kind of pointing up, I see this as the swords kind of like slicing through those clouds to reveal the sunshine behind it. So the way I'm interpreting this card is that you've made some progress to improve your mindset and your energy, but there's still more work that needs to be done. So that really fits with this week. Spend this week, with the moon in Aquarius and Pisces, really kind of like checking in with your thoughts and your emotions and your feelings, And then by this coming weekend, it's time to really take action and really start working on weeding out things that are affecting your energy and your emotions on a day-to-day basis. And we talked about that with the Facebook feed and other things. I think that's a good theme for this week.
Okay.
Jen says, it's funny because swords have been coming up a lot lately in these Magick Mondays. Yeah, you know what's funny? I went to a tarot meetup last year, and they were talking about the suit of wands, and I felt...
Hi.
Buddy.
Sorry, our kid really wanted to be a part of this today, so we're like, all right, let's see how this goes. So yeah, anyways, I identified with the suit of wands, like being an entrepreneur, but then like when I had a reading done on me, there was a lot of swords cards, and they're like, you're a sword. And it's kind of true, because I am in my head a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Nancy said that she loves the terms mental weeds. Being kind to herself is very important, but it's hard to do, and that is true.
Oh yeah, well, we have several new people on here. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining us live. And you can watch the recording too if you're just joining us now, or if you joined us halfway through, you can watch this recording from the beginning. Yeah, I like the term mental weeds too. That's not a term that I coined. Tracy and I worked with a coach before, and they use that. Like, they use kind of the analogy of a garden and ripping out weeds, because otherwise if you let those weeds grow and fester, they'll take over the garden and choke out the stuff you're trying to cultivate. And so I like that analogy. Being a gardener myself, I like that analogy of just always checking in. Like, you always have to check your garden. You always have to go and make sure you pull weeds and check for pests. Same thing with your mind, your energy, your emotions. You have to reflect on that and figure out, oh, are there little pests eating away, threatening to destroy what I'm trying to cultivate? Are there mental weeds that are choking out what I'm trying to grow in my own mental garden? So yeah, I always like that. I always like that term. So 1 second, and then we're going to do the Reiki prayer.
You just stay right here, that way. Okay, sorry.
All right, so let's do the Reiki prayer.
This is actually my version of the Reiki prayer. We're just calling it the ending.
Oh yeah, I
meditation,
know.
sorry.
I always call it that.
When I learned the Reiki, Reiki is very much, the ending prayer is very much, I will not do this negative thing. And so the person who I was taught from, she said that, we like to move in more of an affirmation positive way. So she taught me the correct way, and then this is what she did is turn into, I will do this positive thing. So that's how I adapted it. I love moving towards a positive instead of away from a negative. So since it's not technically the Reiki prayer, we just call it our ending meditation.
Okay.
Refer to it now. Sorry.
Yep.
That's where it
Go
comes
ahead.
from. All right. For all of today, I will love. For all of today, I will trust. For all of today, I will be true to myself. For all of today, I will give thanks for my many blessings. For all of today, I will be kind to my neighbor and every living thing.
All right, and then strike the singing bowl, and we'll just do 3 deep breaths in through our nose, out through our mouth. All right, and then we'll blow out the candle. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. Like I said, you can watch the recording if you jumped in halfway through. The recording will be available in a few minutes after this broadcast.
Yeah, please make sure if you did tune in after we started, please make sure you post your gratitude. We love reading what you guys are grateful for.
Right. Hit the like button on these videos. This helps other people discover it and comment.
Don't forget to
And
subscribe.
thank you so much for
Watch
joining us. And yeah, we had our little assistant today. And we'll be back next week, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, every Monday on our YouTube channel and our Facebook group. And we'll see you guys later. Thanks again for joining.
Bye.